As more and more brothers are obtaining U.S. passports, they're understanding that they're not limited to the dating market here in America. They're not limited to the American attitudes, expectations, just this inflated ego and everything else that a lot of, men, and we tell them definitely the brothers, have to deal with. We had one of our brothers, he had got his passport. He ended up going to Brazil. And I want you to hear his story and how he got some, great cooperation out there. Let's roll that.
In Brazil ruined dating in America for me. The first step is I got around some damn cooperation, right? Second, I've seen some of the most beautiful women that are humble, in person, cooperative, and friendly. And in abundance. They're everywhere. You can't get away from them if you want. So anytime you can DM a chick with 100,000 followers and she follow you back, she likes a picture and she responds consistently, you're not in the United States anymore. And this is like a 10. Like if she came over here and she was a prostitute, she could charge $2,500 per person. Second, the absence of makeup in Brazil was shocking. I have never seen so many women that were just absolutely beautiful with nothing on as soon as they wake up. And again, there's an abundance. They're everywhere. So when you come back to the United States, when I get back in Miami, I'm like, she was a 10 before I got there, but now I'm looking at her like she probably like a 7. What the hell was that? What was I worried about? These ain't even the top notch like I thought. So if you don't want to, if you want to continue to just feel like American women are the best, don't leave the country. And especially don't go to South America. Have you ever had an American woman ask you if you ate without her asking you what you gonna buy her to eat? Have you ever had a chick ride the city bus to come see you? Have you ever had someone that takes ultimate pride in their hygiene? Have you ever been on a date and it felt like you was in a movie in the 1950s? And have you ever had all that without anybody saying, in my hand? Nothing. They don't want nothing. So pretty much when I got back to the States, the first time I went to Brazil in February 2022, this year, I was like, I'm good. I was like, I'm going back in May. I'm not having sex no more in the United States until I get back. I gave in one time. But for me to do that, that was odd. I work out a lot. I have a high sex drive. So for me to do that, it goes to show you something better. So American women, get your shit together. There's a very small percentage of y'all that still know how to act like women. But I got exposed to an abundance of women that know how to act like women, and I'll never be the same again.
You see, back in the 80s and 90s, and definitely I would say even early 2000s for sure, I'm even willing to give you up to 2010, Black American women had a monopoly on Black American men in the area of dating and marriage. And during those years is when definitely the 80s and 90s, that strong and independent, conversation was being, blasted all over the place. And, sisters like Shahrazad Ali tried to warn against that, to go back to, your brother, stop all that saying Black men ain't ish and all of that. And then the men that you're picking is usually the same man who really ain't crap. But you put that mantra out there like that's all Black men. And then when the world became more globalized and people started interacting with people a lot more, and there were other women that see Black American men are actually decent men. I've had women say numerous of times, even in Africa, that Black American men are, very, open minded. They loving men. They're not so quick to try to, put hands on you, etc. This is what I've heard from, African women. Brothers travel to Latin America, don't have no issues and problems because a lot of them, especially even Africans, are raised to be more family oriented. In this culture here in America, not so much. So what's happening right now is I posted on this channel, YouTube short with a sister basically saying, hey, we messed up. We need the brothers to come back. Well, the issue is with that is that the monopoly is gone. And see, when you have a monopoly on something, you treat it any kind of way. Give you an example. In my area, CenterPoint Energy, who does the natural gas, they have a monopoly. So many people complain on them about their customer service, because that's the only one you got to deal with. When you can't go nowhere else, then that person realizes I can treat you any kind of way because you have nowhere else to go. But when you get competition and other people are looking for your business, it makes people act different because now they got to compete with that other person. For instance, in Texas, we want to talk about bills. They say the light companies, they deregulated. So as many light companies are competing for your business, they're not treating you any kind of way. They want to give you incentives to come to their companies. Maybe they want to give you gift cards or, discounts to certain stores or whatever they can do to make it sweet for you to come over. Well, it's the same thing, with the dating world, especially we talking about the brothers. Now, because the brothers are traveling, they going to, Brazil. They seeing how this. Some of them going to Panama. So I hear brothers going to Colombia, brothers going to Dominican Republic, brothers going to, different places, even in the Caribbean, brothers going to Africa, someplace in Asia they going to. It's changed. So if you want to get those black men back, you're going to have to compete. And the competition is you're going to have to be feminine. You're going to have to smile more. You're going to have to be sweet. You have to be willing to cook, willing to come underneath the leadership of a man. Now, you don't have to do anything. No one is forcing you to do anything that you don't want to do. But listen to what that brother said. Now, when that brother posted that video, there's other brothers that heard that video. And then what these other brothers do is say, man, I'm going to go see that for myself. So they obtain their passport and then they go and then they see. These same men that you say that don't want to be married, how is it they're traveling to other countries and all of a sudden now these men are getting married? There's a lot of men that actually want a family. They want a family, but they do not want to get caught up in the American system with family. When a woman could just leave you anytime she get good and ready, it's no fault divorce. They can leave you anytime she get good and ready for no reason at all. I just don't want to be here no more and take half of everything. My issue with that is if you want to leave, okay, if you don't have to be with a man you don't want to be, but you ain't taking half. But see, if you fool with a marriage in America, it's going to deal with other countries. They don't do that mess. I'm not talking about the Western countries. Now, when I mean Western countries, I mean your Canadas, your Europe, all that. That's what you consider Western countries, right? America, they consider that Western countries, white ran countries. Latin America, Asia, Africa, Caribbean, man, they don't go on all that like that. Like they do here, at least here in America. So, this brother's eyes been open wide up. Now, you can call this man whatever names you want to call him. That's fine. But he's experienced something that he does not experience here in this country. And if y'all want to compete, you better do it now. Not to say every woman in America is like the modern woman. Not saying that. Won't even apply that. They still have some decent women here that will do those things. I will say most of those women are in the South. I will admit that. But unfortunately, even the women in the South are starting to turn. A lot of them have turned into this modern women crap. And that's never really been the mantra of Southern, black women. So you're going to have to step your game up if you want these men, ladies, because now they're traveling and you're going to have to compete with those other cultures.